I want to argue for the centrality of human narratives and human voices. I would argue that with proper attention to the telling detail, individual stories are a powerful way to convey large forces. There's a little example from a recent story I had about an immigration jail in Manhattan, where longtime New Yorkers are locked up without access to a lawyer, then typically transferred to places like Texas and Louisiana, far from free legal help. In a thumbnail description of a young Mexican who had been in detention for a week without notice of why, or where and when he would be heard by an immigration judge, I made sure to include the fact that right up until his detention, he had been delivering food for an Italian restaurant on Madison Avenue. It was a way to connect with a lot of my readers, to bring this person into their everyday life. Because, of course, that's one of the things that we're confronting is a dehumanization, an alienation, criminal aliens, that kind of language that makes it hard for people to even relate to what's going on. I wanted to touch on 4 more points. 1, instead of trying to do more with less, i.e. producing more but easier stories, my experience is that it's better to do less with more, fewer stories with more impact. It's more important than ever to do the stories that others are not doing, to pry loose information the government is reluctant to divulge, to break new ground that makes the invisible visible. A second point is, I urge everybody, I'm sure many of you are doing this already, but make use of history. I think looking at the past not only adds depth, it keeps you ahead of the curve. 3, be prepared to stick your neck out with your editors. You understand what's at stake in ways that they cannot unless you tell them. And the 4th point, very quickly, that I hope to come back to, is a problem that I haven't heard anybody else bring up, but that fear makes it harder than ever to get people to speak at all about what's happening in immigrant families, schools, and neighborhoods. And that the ground is shifting on us so that even innocuous coverage can bring immigration agents to the door. In other words, we have to think on a new level about the impact of our coverage.
In any case, the editor 2 years ago decided that we weren't really getting to grips with this issue that was becoming one of the most pressing, one of the most urgent social issues in Ireland. We went from a position where 10 years ago, 2% of the population of Ireland was born outside the country, to a position today where about 12% were born abroad. So you're talking about a very rapid and deep demographic revolution in Ireland. You will not go to any village or town in Ireland without there being a Polish plumber, or there being a Polish shop, or a Lithuanian graduate student working in the shop on the corner with an economics textbook under the counter because he's working in Ireland for the summer, or he's taken a year out to make some money. There has been massive change. A famously and traditionally monocultural, monoethnic society, monolingual society, now encompasses people from about 160 countries, probably as many languages. So it's been a period of rapid change. There was a feeling that we weren't coming to grips with this in the media because the traditional categories in which we work, the ways in which we